Today is 443rd day that I come here to share lessons I learned and I'm learning. I hope those lessons support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I'm going to speak about interviews. Sometimes one-on-one interviews, sometimes group interviews. Of course, I think that I will want to touch more group interviews today. Because when I think about personal traits and strengths, and people ask you what you have to overcome and what you learn from it. So it's easy during one-on-one interview because you're able to choose one trait that you want to represent and you're able to tell a story about it. But if you think about a group interview, it might be that there's even 10 people in that meeting. So it means you need to prepare multiple character traits, multiple stories that you could say, okay, this is exactly what I want to represent, because sometimes could pick your strengths, your story. So that means you need to be able and always ready to tell another story. So today we'll share 8 personality traits, 8 things that really is very important to have, and you could represent yourself in the highest way. So first thing is honesty. So that means think about what kind of story you can tell in your lifetime that you were very honest. For example, I liked my friend's story. He said that I wanted to get a job in sales, so I told a story about other sales job. I said that what I did in that previous job, the first week when I started sales in that job, first week I sold only 1 sale per week. And he was doing a terrible job. So what he did over the weekend, he called all his sales friends and he was asking multiple questions, question after question, and he reviewed all his calls, and then he realized what he was doing wrong. So next week he sold 10x, and that means that he improved himself. So that means he shared his story during the interview, and because he was honest about his failures, about his mistakes, and what he did and how he overcame that, he of course got a lot of great feedback because of that. Now is empathy. So what kind of story you could share about empathy? That means that it could be that you say that you're a leader in a team, and there's one person who is always negative, and no one wants to work with that person. And now what you could do, of course, if you are empathetic person, most likely will be able to really sit down with that person and share, okay, as a story, I sit down with that person, start to really understand that person, understood that fully why that person acting a certain way, and I help to realize that the way how he's acting is not appropriate. So that means you will show that you were empathetic. You didn't fire that person right away, but no, you try to understand it, try to find a way how you can bring everything together. And again, this is a story that you can share about empathy. Optimism. Third is optimism. Now, there could be that you build a startup, or you could build like some kind of project, and you say, oh, every single person didn't believe that this project will go through, but I always believe that we have a chance to make this project happen. And I always said that we will make it happen. And after we were finished, everyone was thanking me because I always was very optimistic. And after that, I learned that optimism is very helpful because you're able to persevere during tough days. So that means every single person is supposed to have one story in a lifetime where they was very optimistic and really made things happen. Number 4 is self-discipline. I think that self-discipline is very essential. And I think that a lot of times the stories are regarding sports. So that means maybe you did sports for 14 years. Maybe you competed in athletics, wrestling, basketball, soccer, it doesn't matter. But like how you can show what kind of story could represent that you are self-disciplined. Maybe you did for a year training every single day, and you perform at the highest level and win some kind of tournament. Of course, maybe you're not in sports, maybe in playing a piano, maybe playing guitar. Where do you show your self-discipline and showing that you have that self-discipline? Because it's very important not just saying, oh, my strength is because I'm very self-disciplined, but you always need to add example and a story why that is. Number 5 is adaptability. That means, of course, it could be a story where you moved to another location and everything changed. Maybe you moved from Europe and you moved to Canada or United States, and now the language changed, the culture changed, and how you adapted and how fast adapted and what you learn from it. So, of course, adaptability is a lot of different stories where you adapted, where you needed to change and adjust to new environment. Number 6 is strong work ethic. Now, of course, when I think about strong work ethic, I always imagine working with a very tight deadline for a couple of weeks to make sure that you're able to finish some kind of work. So you said that, oh, I worked 80 hours, 100 hours, 2 weeks to make sure that we finish the deadline, because we really want to make sure that our company doesn't get any fines, and we needed to finish. So our team, all of us, worked 100 hours for 2 weeks to make sure that we finish, and that showed that I'm dependable. So I build a brand of a very dependable person who has a very strong work ethic. Number 7 is good communication skills. Now, one thing is that maybe you have a story where that good communication really allow you to move forward. Maybe competition. Maybe you said, okay, I participated in Starbucks competition, and we went for first level and second level, and we moved to the finals of that competition, and the last time we needed really to share about ourselves and about our vision, and that communication really allowed us to win that competition or go to the finals. Even just going to some kind of finals could show how your good communication led to something. That means, of course, we need to have a story about that. And the last one is resilience. I think that resilience is one of the biggest ones, because every single person has lows and ups. So that means if you are able to perform only on ups, that's a pretty sad story, because successful people perform, it doesn't matter. They're up or down, they always perform. So that means, do you have a story where you were very, very low, you were depressed, but you was performing on the highest? Maybe you got an injury and you were not able to exercise or perform some activities, but you did anyways, and maybe your doctor said that you're not able to perform something, but you said that I'm able to do that, and I'm a resilient person, and I showed that it doesn't matter what my doctor says, it doesn't matter what my friend says, it doesn't matter what other people say, I will perform. So that means those 8 things, of course, just the beginning. There's a lot of great personality traits, but the one main important part is about that when you say your strengths, when you say that you overcome something, you always need to make a great example, make story about how you show that strength. Because it's easy to say that you have some strength, but it's just, you not just need to talk, you always need to talk the talk and walk the walk. So, and that's when you give an example is one of the best way to really represent yourself well. I hope that will help you find a job, and I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.